Hello everybody, this is Dave the Rave roving the rock here, and today, this is Monday the 5th of June. I'm at Brodick passenger walkway at Brodick ferry terminal on the Isle of Arran, and the reason I'm here is to film MV Alfred loading up and departing for Ardrossan. So without any further ado, I'll just point this camera and the phone towards the boat, and I'll just carry on talking. So it's a perfect sunny day. The ferry is empty just now, there's nothing on it, it's just discharged all the vehicles. I'll just have a wee look there. There's a completely empty loading deck there, and it's just going to get the first vehicles on. So what it does, it takes the first high vehicles and reverses them on. And this is the first commercial now, the brakes lorry, and they'll reverse them on to the very back of the boat. There are three main lanes on the car deck of the boat. The whole car deck is only on one level, no mezzanines, and so they'll take three big commercials, reverse them on, and take them down to the back of the boat first of all. Fill up a lot of the centre of the boat with high vehicles because it's an open deck, so there's no height limit restriction on the vehicles that go in there, but there are at the sides. There's like two smaller lanes going right round the side in a big semicircle, and the maximum height under the overhang is 3 metres. These lorries are higher than that, so they'll get them on just now. So that's the brakes lorry just going on the ramp now. Now it's getting a car with a wee trailer out the way, because trailers are awkward to load. Probably turn that round the deck and reverse that up as well. And then we've got a motorhome, 6 metre motorhome going towards the ferry now. That'll be turning on the decks nice and short, lucky for it. Yep, looks like it's only the brakes lorry that's going to have to reverse, so that's good, because a lot of people don't like reversing onto the boat. But this gives you the idea that really there aren't that many vehicles that have to reverse. Even the big ones can mostly turn around on the deck. It's just the brakes lorry that's had to do it, and it's about, well, it's 10.5 metres long, 11 metres long. So, looking back at the lanes of traffic, I'll talk more about the ferry in a second. They've kept 4 high vans in the car park, but they've loaded 4 high vans and motorhomes onto the boat, so they've kept some of them for the end, because the way they load this ferry is they take these ones, put them at the back, put all the small cars, and there are 3 lanes of smaller vehicles there around the edges, and then just put the last remaining few high ones right at the door. So just to say, this is MV Alfred. It's a catamaran. It's on charter from Pentland Ferries, and it only has one ramp, one door on the boat, so it's not a roll-on, roll-off ferry. You have to go off the same way that you went on. That's the reason that they're messing about a little bit with these vehicles, but as I was saying, it's not too difficult. Once this 4 or 5 vehicles go on, everybody else just goes round, up the left, round the back down the right, and that's the way they feed off the boat as well, just in a big circle. So there's no reversing at all. This vessel is owned by Pentland Ferries, as I said, and it started on the Ardrossan Brodick run on charter on the 12th of May, after completing berthing trials, gaining its passenger ship safety certificate, making some stern ramp adjustments, and some repairs to the hydraulics as well. So there was a bit of fiddling about before it came on this run. The stern ramp needed to be adjusted because it needed a couple of extra fingers, a bit wider ramp for cars to drive off and on to fit the Brodick pier, which it did get. So it's working nicely now. In fact, it works very well. That's why if they're going to reverse anything off and on, it's actually done at Brodick instead of at Ardrossan, where the vessel berths at the Irish berth. Going back to what we're looking at, these cars here. The timetable for this vessel It's going to be on until the 29th of June at least. The current timetable runs from the 26th of May to the 29th of June inclusive. Every day from Brodick to Ardrossan, we have a 9:45 in the morning and a 6 in the evening, and then also an additional sailing at 1:15 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday to help with weekend traffic, because of course Isle of Arran is a heavily tourist oriented island, very popular with the tourists, and so in the weekends you get more traffic than in the weekdays. And I can tell you from experience, because I work here by the way, so I've been loading these boats, in fact most of the week, even though I'm on a holiday this week. I spent all of yesterday, we do 12-hour shifts, and yesterday for example I was one of 2 guys that were loading these ferries. And the reason I'm in on my holiday, by the way, is because we just can't get enough staff. We've got 4 vacancies, and it's difficult to get staff on Arran. There are no rentals whatsoever. There's no rental accommodation ever advertised in the slightest at any price. And the working age population is very small now, because as a result they either have to own a house or have live-in accommodation at whatever employer they're working for. So it's very hard to get employees. All of the main employers can't get enough staff, or are struggling. I'm talking about the post office, the Stagecoach bus company, the co-op, these kind of things. These are service jobs, like important jobs that happen in Arran, and including of course loading vehicles and putting people on the ferry. Largely unskilled, not so well paid, not that many people here anymore, so they're difficult to fill, and we've got that same problem. So I've done 5 shifts in the last 8 days, even though I'm on holiday, just to help out, because it's difficult to get enough people to operate, and there are ports up further north that can't open their doors anymore apart from at boat time, both in the mainland and in the islands. Well, it'll be interesting to see if we fill these vacancies or not, or end up like these other ports. But that's an aside. There we go. But that's the reason why I've been here. So this week, right, there's another. Right, they're taking some more high vehicles towards the back of the boat. One more high vehicle, by the look of it, just one. So a bit more about the service. MV Alfred is owned by Pentland Ferries, and its home port is Kirkwall, and it usually runs on the route between Caithness and Orkney. This ferry has got a 97 car capacity officially, although having spoken to the men that load it, the capacity is more like 90 cars now, because cars are growing very quickly. They're getting bigger and bigger. We're experiencing that just exactly the same on the MV Caledonian Isles and MV Isle of Arran, which ordinarily service this route. And MV Caledonian Isles started at 120 car capacity and is down to 93 now, and even then, to be honest, lately it's been more like 87. MV Isle of Arran was at 76, and now it's really closer to 50. And this one is starting to come down its capacity a little bit as well, just because cars are bigger, more motorhomes. I mean, a motorhome is far bigger than a car, it takes up a lot more space, and there are more and more of these. So you're going to get less vehicles on. It's just arithmetic, isn't it? The maximum speed of this vessel is 16 knots. It can take 550 tonnes dead weight. It was launched, this ferry, in 22nd of February 2019 and built in Vietnam at a cost of £14 million. So it's a nice new ferry. It's only 4 years old. I can tell you, when I've been on it, it's very smooth. It's lovely actually. I really enjoyed the journey. It's comfortable inside. It's the first time I've been on a ferry. I know it was a calm day I was there, but I just wasn't even aware that I was on a ferry at all. The stairs are easy to to go up and down. They're shallow, they've got good handrails. That's just as well because the lift isn't working, hasn't been working since the ferry came here. So of course, if somebody's completely disabled, they can't manage stairs in any way at all, it's going to have to be the Caledonian Isles, which is the other vessel that we have on the Isle of Arran route, and that has a working lift. This one, if you're mobile at all, these stairs are easy, so they're easy to manage. So that's one thing to remember if you are using it. There isn't any food or drink on board this ferry, and no retail either, because it's a skeleton crew that's on. The crew that are on are here just to make sure that cars and passengers can get backwards and forwards on this route, and that's their main objective, and mostly it's cars because we were sorely lacking in car capacity. Foot passengers, not such a big problem. MV Caledonian Isles can take 1,000 people. It wasn't really struggling for space for foot passengers. But vehicles, you couldn't get a booking for such a long time. It's such a popular place, like I said. So this vessel has been enormously helpful. It's the same capacity roughly as MV Caledonian Isles. It's the first time that the Isle of Arran has had two large vessels on the route, and at a time when so many other islands are struggling with vessels that are getting overhauls or repairs, Isle of Arran is really very lucky at the moment. Two large vessels, and it's being well used. So these are the cars just starting to go on the ferry now. I'll just have a closer look at the ramp up there. There we go. So driving straight towards the boat, veering over towards the left and going under the overhang, getting sent up the overhang on the left, round the very back of the boat and back down the overhang on the right, and then when the ferry comes into Ardrossan, they'll just feed out the right hand side straight back off that same ramp. Just a magic merry-go-round, and it works very nicely. They're putting cars down the centre lanes as well, actually, because there aren't so many high vehicles. They've held back 3 high vans for the door, but they're putting some of the cars down the centre of the boat and holding them just shy of the door, and that makes sense. That just fits with what I was talking about. So the vans will go in just in front of these cars, and I think the vans will reverse down and then sit in front of them so that everything can just drive straight off in Ardrossan. That's what I think will happen. Coming back out here. Now interestingly, and I don't know if it'll get it on, but we've had a lorry turn up at the last minute, an Arran haulage sticks lorry, 44 tonnes of timber on there, 16.5 metres. I don't know if that's too late to go on this ferry, or even if it's going to try. I would say this, it's 1 o'clock. This ferry leaves at 1:15 and it's meant to be loaded by 1:05. So we'll know in the next 5 minutes or so, because this should all be loaded in the next 5 minutes or so. And then what we'll do is we'll take as many foot passengers as is there, put them on last, keep them separate from the traffic for safety, and then just shut the door and away, hopefully on time at 1:15. I would add that there's another ferry coming in at 1:25, MV Caledonian Isles, so that makes the job of the car marshals here extremely difficult, because 10 minutes after this leaves the berth, there's another one coming to the berth which can take 90 cars. So they're really earning their money in this car park, and I certainly have been earning mine. There's no chance of me getting fat, which I never was, of course, but I'm a runner. But that's not going to happen. Okay, so going back to what I was talking about, this ferry is owned by Pentland Ferries, and Pentland Ferries was the first ferry operator in the UK to win the Green Tourism Award for the Alfred, because the Alfred is 60% more fuel efficient than comparable ferries. 60%, significant. It's a diesel powered ferry, and its owner says that it is the most environmentally friendly ferry in Scotland. Now that's something I only found out a few days ago. Because it's so new, and catamarans are well known for being efficient, this one is very efficient indeed, and it's actually the first one to win the award the Green Tourism Award. So that does say something about it. In fact, the loading officer was telling me it can just run on fumes. Basically, it's so efficient. He was backing that up himself. So that's interesting. You can't book this ferry; it's non-bookable. MV Caledonian Isles is bookable. The only things that are booked on this ferry is the cars that were booked on the MV Isle of Arran, which we're supposed to have at this time of year, but it's been taken away onto the Isla run between Kennaicraig and Isla to help them out. They're down in capacity there, as are some of the other islands, and so they've got the Isle of Arran, we've got this one, and so anybody who's booked on MV Isle of Arran does have a booking on this. They're prioritised and their bookings were migrated onto this ferry. Usually not a large number. There are only a couple of sailings where this ferry has left anybody behind, any vehicles. It usually gets pretty much full, but just about manages. It's being heavily used, as you can actually tell. There's an awful lot of vehicles going on this ferry, and they're still loading them the whole time. But anyway, so it's just turn up and go, and that works very well because obviously there's nobody in front of you. So if you want to go on a ferry, you've got the same chance as anybody else. You come in good time, you'll get in the ferry, that's fine. There's nobody else. It's not got 90 cars booked in front of you. So we're nearly finished loading. We've only got 3 or 4 cars, the 3 vans. I'm not sure if the lorry's going or not. It might not be. There's another car just coming in. So it's still taking vehicles in, which is good to see, even though it's nearly 5 past. That's a lucky car there. The passenger capacity in this ferry, by the way, is 230. It's not, or it would be 430 if it was fully crewed, but it's only got a skeleton crew, like I said, so it's 230, but that works well because even fully laden with cars, it usually only has 160 or so passengers in the cars, and then you take the foot passengers, which number I would say in front of me there, about 30, 40 maybe, no problem. Nobody's going to get left here, so that's working out nicely, and it usually does. Just before it finishes, I'll just give my update on what's happening with the ferry that I've read on the internet. This is the CalMac update from the 1st of June. MV Alfred has had a temporary repair carried out to her thruster. However, she cannot operate the published timetable and is unable to operate to Kennaicraig. That is the published timetable, and would need to operate to either Troon or Campbelltown, which then reduces the number of sailings which could be carried out. Therefore, the decision has been taken to retain her on the Arran service. Retain her. It doesn't say for how long. Like I said, the timetable at the moment runs out on the 29th of June, but it could go on for a lot longer. You never know, it could go all summer, that'd be wonderful. Retain her is what it said, that's the words it used. And with no end to that at that update, and that was only 4 days ago. MV Isle of Arran continues to operate alongside MV Lord of the Isles on Isla, whilst MV Finlagan completes an annual overhaul which was due to start yesterday. So that's what's happening there. This ferry is considered to be best deployed at Arran, and therefore we've lost our smaller Isle of Arran ferry over to Kennaicraig Isla for the foreseeable at the moment. Their loss is our gain. Lastly, I would say Robbie Drummond, who is the CalMac Chief Executive, said the Brodick Ardrossan route was operating with only one vessel, MV Isle of Arran, for some time. So the addition of MV Alfred will provide much needed support to the local community. Vessel deployment plans beyond June 29th will remain under review based on the wider network needs. So he's not confirmed or really said anything very much about what the plan is after June the 29th. But it's certainly great as long as it's here. It's a pleasure to have this ferry, and I would add the crew are very friendly as well. So having a look at what's going on now with the loading, there is some space at the back, but not an awful lot. They've got 5 cars in the car park, There are a couple of cars making their way down, and still these 3 vans. We'll see what ends up going on, and the foot passengers are still to go on, and there's a motorbike as well. Just while it looks like they're going for the vans now, when they start reversing them back, let's have a look. Yep, just heard the man say, going to reverse down from my wonderful high spot on the passenger gangway above the car park, which I'm looking down on the whole car park here. I've got a great bird's eye view. The other thing I would say, while I'm talking about having a bird's eye view, I'm looking across the whole of Brodick Bay here, over where the old pier used to be, towards the mountains. Goat Fell is in the top right of my view, and a lot of the mountains are in front of me. It's a wonderful view across the bay. A perfect sunny day with a blue sky. And I never stop appreciating this view. This is my workplace. This is the view from my workplace. Right across the bay, over to Brodick Castle. We've got about 6 or 7 yachts in the bay. I can see the main road of Brodick stretching away in the distance. Might have finished these vans now. Sending the motorbike now. Yep, all 3 vans have just been reversing down now. And there's the motorbike on its way. And then it'll be the foot passengers, I imagine. So they're not going to be taking the lorry then. The lorry's going to be going in the next one. Of course, that might be from choice, you never know. Yeah. Well, let's have a look and see. So while we're waiting to see if we take any more traffic, I'll just concentrate on the view over to Brodick. Stunning. Absolutely beautiful. There's the ferry terminal on my left. Glass fronted, panoramic view, is a wonderful view from that waiting room in the terminal. And then over the bay, up to the mountains beyond. A perfect day. I would say actually I wouldn't want to change it or have it any hotter. In fact, in honesty, because I'm such a mouse instead of a man, I would actually have it cooler than this. I'm not used to the heat. So I have to say I struggle a little bit. I've been outside, like I said, well, I've done 5 shifts in the last 8 days, even though I'm on holiday, and all of them have been outside. And I can say I've never bought suntan cream in my life. That's just me, but I'm about to. It's just been such amazing weather. Normally I'd be out for a while, back inside and doing things or whatever, but I've been out consistently loading these boats, and it's been like this day after day after day. Amazing weather, perfect, what you'd say. And of course, that was why I took my holiday at this time of year, because Arran, at this time, Scotland in general, in fact, May, June, the best time of year, the least rainfall on the west coast, and it's the driest. It's in lovely weather. You don't usually get too hot. If you were to get this weather in July or August, it would be hotter, but usually we get more rain anyway. This is the time to be off. It's perfect weather, and I'm glad to have the chance to be messing about today, even though I'm back at my workplace. I have to say, I have an interest in this, and I like this ferry. I think we're very lucky to have it, actually. I've said it before, but between these 2 ferries, this and the Caledonian Isles, we've never had such great car capacity on the Arran route before. It's the best that we've ever had. So we're very lucky, and they're still taking cars here, so they're being very kind. That's another couple of cars just gone on. And what time are we at now? We'll just have a look. So of course, $1:12. We're at 1:12 now, and there's another car coming. So they're really trying to fill this ferry up. Of course, the cars won't stop, because you've got the traffic from the MV Caledonian Isles will come in as well. Eventually, you'll get an awful lot of them. There's a single line of cars across on the other side of the car park now, 5 cars. They're cars that don't want to go in this ferry. they want to go in the Caledonian Isles. Might be with passengers that want to use the lift, or maybe they want to get food on board, you know, they want to get their lunch. So those cars are deliberately staying over there. They're not wanting this particular ferry. And you do get the odd person that, you know, for these reasons prefers it. There's a van just come in now. Lucky to get on it this time. They're really trying to fill it up. Right, there's the foot passengers just starting to move now. And they're going on the car ramp the same way as the vehicles do. As it happens, because this ferry, it wasn't ever really designed to be on this route, and it's on charter, like I said. It's not a ferry that's owned by Caledonian MacBrayne. They've paid £9 million for a 9-month charter for this vessel, and so it doesn't fit our passenger gangway, so the passengers are going on the ramp, but to be fair, you can see it's no bother. They're going on fine. Talking about the charter, remember that £9 million, it's a bit like renting a house but getting all of the bills paid at the same time. So you've got, you're renting the house, but this is all inclusive. So if you can imagine that somebody was paying your gas, electricity, phone bill, broadband, food, fuel, petrol, your transport, travelling costs, I mean everything, every cost that you've got, that's what's happening with this ferry, because this is all inclusive. It includes the crew, the fuel, insurance, I mean everything. There's no cost for CalMac apart from the actual amount of money they paid. So if you're going to work out, you're going to say, oh, it's so expensive, you know, maybe it seems expensive for renting a ferry. It isn't just a ferry. All these costs would be on top, and they're significant. I can't really comment on whether that's good value or not, because I don't know enough to know if that's good value. But I would say this: if you're going to be deciding if it's good value, you have to take account of the fact that this is all inclusive. It's not just the cost of the hire of a ferry, which may be quite a small part of the cost here, if you take account of all the other costs of running a ferry. So the foot passengers are all on now. They've got that blue van just reversing down that came late, and a car that's going behind it. So they're very lucky, to be honest. And as you can see, in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a closer look at the door of the boat. How full is that? So you've got right up to the ramp of the boat there. We've got a silver van on the right, a white van in the middle. You've got the blue van reversing into the left, and a car just sneaking into the left of that. They're lined up in a line, front to back. The whole centre of that boat, from front to back, you can see it is full, absolutely full of vehicles. And they've waited until they've filled that. And this is Monday, by the way. This isn't as busy as the other weekend days, Saturday and Sunday. I was in yesterday, and you know, that's even busier than a Monday. And yet you can see how well used this is being. They're taking the time to load it right to the door, and also taking cars right to the last minute before they have to let go of the ropes. Now there you go. So that's the picture there. There's the vehicles on the boat. All the people are on the boat. You couldn't get another car past them. That's it. It's completely full. So it's nice to see. It's just nice to see it being used properly. How good is that? All of these cars probably wouldn't have come, or certainly wouldn't have been able to get away just now if that ferry wasn't there. Right, that's the gate closed. That's the end of them now. Yes, the ramp's very noisy, so it always sounds like something's going wrong with the ferry, and that's the only thing about it. It seems very slick and new, apart from the noise that the door makes when it goes up. There we go, that's the door up now. We'll just have another look at the car park. So we've already got quite a few vehicles lined up. We've got 4 commercials coming for Caledonian Isles. Cars are lining up in 3 lanes. I think we'll just wait and watch this ferry leave the berth. We'll zoom in a bit closer. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll have it for the whole summer. The nice thing about it is, from my own point of view, because it's unbookable, there's really no fuss about whether anybody's getting on it or not. You're just taking them in the order that they're arriving. So although there'll be a few cars booked from the Isle of Arran, the vast majority of them are just turn up and go, and it's just as many as you can get on. And as we've just witnessed, every car that turned up for this one got on it, and it was almost entirely full to the back door. It looked completely full to the back door, to be fair. From where we are here, sitting there was a row of front to back, all the centre, everything I could see was completely full. Just taking a wee second to get their safety checks done. Now, if I was to look, in fact I can see it, if I look out the gangway, I can see MV Caledonian Isles just coming towards us. But I think I will. I'm going to go and have a look. Since they're taking their time. 1 second. Let's go up the gangway here. There we go. Right, looking out the window. Let me try it here. Right, where are we? There it is. Caledonian Isles just coming towards us in the distance. Only about 10 minutes away maybe, at the most. Exactly on time. Back away. What I'll maybe do, back to where it was. Yeah, so as I was saying, so we've got vacancies here if anybody wants a job. I like working here, but you earn your money. So much like all these other jobs I was talking about, actually, to be fair, if you're on the kind of more unskilled or lower paid end, you earn your money. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the interactions with the people that I work with and the people I serve. I like it. To be honest, I don't know what I would do exactly without it altogether. It's a funny thing. I'm 58 years old and I think, well, wouldn't it be wonderful just to retire? And I have got hobbies and interests and things, but I actually do like, the people. So there's the thing. So if you were thinking about coming here, I would say that the people are great. And there's a real kind of community, and both on Arran and with the people that work here. There's very rarely any problem at all. So looking across at a car park now, I've got 5 commercials lined up, and I don't know, 20 or 15 cars now. Just checking them in as fast as I can. There seems to be a little delay with this ferry going. Usually it would have left the berth a little bit faster than this. What I might do, I think I'll go along the walkway and just see if I can get a quick look down into the car deck so we can see just how full it is while they're having this little, because I'm sure they'll be away in a second. MV Caledonian Isles is almost here now. Have another look. Alright. So, what I was talking about before, there's MV Caledonian Isles. Just about coming. That's only 5 minutes away now. So this ferry really needs to leave the berth now. I'm going to go down and see if I can get a quick shot in the car deck before it goes, just to show you how busy it is. bear with me a second. It's the advantage of working here. Oh, there's the engine starting up. I'll just go quite quickly. Yeah, going to get a view of it from here, that's good. There we go. Well, I made it. There's the vessel. So yes, from my viewpoint from the walkway here, I'm very lucky. I'm getting to look down on the back of the boat, and it's completely packed with vehicles. And I can actually see somebody getting help up the stairs there as well. There's something called an evac chair that they can use. It's a bit more cumbersome than using a lift, but it's the alternative. So they can, and it's got 4 crew members there helping somebody up and getting her up to the top deck, so that's nice to see. So she's been well attended to. There's the men letting go of the ropes now. There's the noise the engine makes when it starts. Again, that's a kind of funny one. It's a bit like the door of the ramp. The grinding noise that it makes. It's quite noisy. You'd imagine it would sound slicker. It's a noisy ferry when it takes off. Okay. There are pier hands Jake and Liam letting go of the ropes. Job done, boys. Ferry's engines starting up there. It's nice to see. It's nice to see this in operation, isn't it? Because, or even to hear it, because the boat's being well used. It's serving its purpose. We live in an imperfect world, and not every decision is perfect. But that boat is full of vehicles, and we'll try and get a better look again. That's the car deck I'm looking at. All I can see is vehicles, no space whatsoever, and that's on a Monday. That's even something that I enjoy, because I can get to the mainland now using this ferry, which certainly with a vehicle I just would have struggled very much so when we only had the one ferry. Okay, so it's just pulling away. It's about 100 yards, about 100 metres in new money away from me now, and just starting to turn around at the end of the berth. There we go. Wee bit of smoke coming out of the exhausts there. Got four exhausts above each of the 4 little kind of pipes at the top of the main 2 exhausts, and 1 on each side of the boat. Away it goes, just starting to move out of sight round the top of the pier here. And just as the ferry does that, I'm just going to stay in position. This is how quickly the next one comes in. So that one is going out of sight. 3, 2, 1, now. How many seconds can I not see a ferry for? 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds. There's the next ferry, just taking its position. MV Caledonian Isles. Taking the exact same position as the MV Alfred was in. Just coming around to do its big turn in the bay, and then back up to the berth. I think we'll just stay and watch that happening as well since I'm here. Why not? Perfect day. So, coming round, while I'm looking, I think what we'll do, I'll look away from the ferry just for a second. And we'll have a look at Brodick, just have a look at that. So, in front of me, and slightly behind me, is the old pier, or the end of what's left of it, the part of it where the cars would drive down onto the ferry. People sitting there on benches. Every bench has got people sitting on it. That part's remaining. It's a big stone concrete structure sticking quite far out and giving you a lovely view of the bay. And beyond that, we've got Brodick, starting with the ferry terminal on the left and sweeping round Douglas Hotel, Co-op, up to the centre there. So in a way, when you think about it, it couldn't be any better for tourists, for tourism here, because we've had one ferry just gone, right? We've got perfect sunny weather, no lockdown anymore. I know that COVID and Brexit have put some people off going abroad anyway, so Arran's certainly more popular than it might have been otherwise. Just staying, what do you call it, staycationers, that's what they're called. A lot more of them around these days. But this is just perfect conditions for it. Now that the ferry's taking a sharp turn now. Immediately behind the ferry is Goatfell and the castle, so that's my view across the bay. And to the right of that, Merkland, and then Corrie and Sannox beyond there. The sea looks turquoise today. A closer look at that as well. Beautiful blue colour, like being abroad. Really lovely. And that's the ferry just coming around. We're seeing the other side of the ferry now, having done a 180-degree turn in the bay. Just nicely on time. So no panic in the car park then, because it's a Monday, so there's not quite as many vehicles as there would have been in the weekend. An awful lot of tourists, of course, the holiday makers come for a week, weekend to weekend. Saturday to Saturday is probably the most popular. When I had a holiday house, it was Saturday to Saturday. So there's a bit less traffic there, but quite a lot of commercials. I've got 6 commercials in that car park now, but quite a small number of cars. There'll be a lot of cars coming off this one though. Pretty much every sailing Caledonian Isles has been booked for a long time. There we go. Just going the whole of my view now, the ferry. And there's the pier hands just making their reappearance, so they weren't away for very long. You can nail. While I'm here, I'll show you one more pier hand across the way there. A wee doll that's been made up to look like a pier hand, got a little helmet and everything and waterproofs. There for Mike came over from the old pier to this one. Sitting there guarding the pier. About a foot high. Okay. MV Caledonian Isles. Just coming alongside now, so maybe 30 metres from the ramp. 15 metres from the side of the ferry to the side of the pier. Just coming in sideways. 10 metres now. Meters. Just going to watch the man there throwing the rope down to the man below. 2 meters, 1 meter, there's the rope, and it's just touching the side now. There we go. Nicely done. And move and start to move backwards at the same time now. Of course, this vessel has got raised decks, mezzanines, but it's a roll-on, roll-off ferry, so it's quicker in one respect and slower in another. It takes a while to put all the smaller vehicles up in the mezzanines, but it takes a lot less time to get them off and on when you've got a door at the other end. There are catamarans that have been built now that have got a door at each end, so MV Alfred, if it was decided that a catamaran was suitable for Arran in the future, it could be a roll-on, roll-off catamaran. The reason it's interesting mostly with a catamaran, it's a whole different type of vessel from a monohull, and without labouring the point too much, it's more efficient, it's lower, more fuel efficient, and it's less, but it's less likely to be able to handle, or should we say, stormy weather than a monohull. A monohull is built to be able to take storms more. But it's also got a bigger side. Monohulls have got crew living on the boat when they're there. And the catamarans don't have so much crew accommodation. They usually use crew that are shore based and then come onto the ferry. So they can actually be smaller for that reason. It's very basic crew accommodation. So the swings and pros and cons. It's a big deal for the men that work on the ferry. From the point of view of the customer, well, MV Alfred is normally up at Orkney, which is well known for being a stormy route, and it manages quite well. So there's the thing. So interesting to see just how well the trial works. If they manage to keep the ferry all summer, that would be enough to make decisions based on that, I would imagine. Here's the door coming down, let's go back to where the boat is. So that was fast, wasn't it? We've got a motorhome right at the front door. And down at 45 degrees. So yeah, because it could be a big change to working conditions and practices if catamarans to become normal. So it is a big deal that there's a catamaran on this route. That's the 2 points about it. We're lucky to have it, but if it works, it could make big changes. It could be the beginning of big changes, or it might not be. Just have to wait and see. And there's the first vehicle coming off. Ottertail motorhome, and that's the job done. The motorbike. Okay, so looking away from that ferry, one more thing to do. I'll just see how far away MV Alfred's got while we've been watching that. I'm zooming in like mad, trying to find it. I can just see it and no more. It's very far away. It's a speedy vessel. Just in that time, it's almost out of sight, even on full zoom. I've got 5 times zoom in this wee camera. You can only just see it no more. Making good progress. Okay, job done. About 10 seagulls taking a nap in front of me as well. Okay, I'm off. Lunchtime for me. Dave the Rave, Roving the Rock, on YouTube and ArranSound.com Disto Radio. Over and out from Brodick, Isle of Arran. Cheers.